What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. The 2024 NFL Draft is coming up this week, and so we're here to do the annual NFL mock draft. So let's just hop right into it. We're not going to do any trades. Obviously, we know that there will be a bunch of trades that happen. Specifically, there might be a couple within the top five. There might be two within the top five. Could be a bunch of the first round as well. But we're going to do no trades. All 32 teams in the first round, just pick as if no trades happen. So let's just jump right into it then. Obviously, the first pick to the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, adding a potential franchise QB in Chicago after moving on from Justin Fields. He's been the consensus number one pick for 1 to 2 years now, so no real surprise here. Curious how some of his struggles last year at USC, coming off that Heisman year, and see how he bounces back with a young team here in Chicago. He'll obviously have veterans DJ Moore, newly added Keenan Allen as a friendly target, and the number 9 pick. A little teaser there. At number 2, the Washington Commanders. I got them taking, there's been rumors swirling about Jaden Daniels wanting to go elsewhere, but if you're Washington, you got to take the best QB on the board, the best player on the board. Potentially, in my opinion, I think might have a better career than Caleb Williams. I could be wrong, but really high on Jaden Daniels. I got him going number 2 here to the Commanders. And, undisputed top 2 quarterback, in my opinion. Possibly the best quarterback in the class. You could argue, as I said. But maybe I'm still just a little scarred from him walking to Spartan Stadium in 2019 as a member of the Arizona State Sun Devils and beating us. But he'll have a veteran running back to help him along in Austin Eckler in year 1. At number 3, the New England Patriots. This is a popular trade destination. You've heard that trades have been kind of laughable so far, but I got the Patriots staying here and taking Drake May, quarterback from North Carolina. They've been searching for a quarterback, obviously, since Brady left. Thought they found something in Mac Jones, but that didn't pan out. So still a rebuilding team with Belichick gone. So curious to see if they do go for a quarterback or if they can get a big haul. So curious to see if this is the route they go here. It seems like it is if they stay at that 3rd pick to start a new era for the Patriots. At number 4, the Arizona Cardinals, taking the best wide receiver in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr., helping Kyler Murray out in the receiving core, giving him a legitimate day 1 wide receiver 1. You could always use some O-line help here as well, so keep an eye on that. At number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers, coach from that school down the road, Jim Harbaugh, first year back in the NFL with the Chargers. I got them kind of going out of the box. Guy's an out-of-the-box dude. He's a weird dude. I got him going out of the box here. I got them taking Brock Bowers, best tight end in the draft, obviously. Chargers basically sold the roster. No more Keenan Allen, no more Austin Eckler, no more Mike Williams, but you still have Justin Herbert. Harbaugh bringing in his offense. Look for Brock to go off the board here without question. As we said, the top tight end in the class. And, how Harbaugh likes to run his offense, I see Bowers being a good first addition, for that group. If they don't go Brock Bowers here, I see them either going with, the best offensive lineman on the board and Joe Alt, or, going with one of the wide receivers there, probably Neighbors or Odunze. At number 6, the New York Giants. This is also, one of the teams that is, potentially looking to trade up for a quarterback. I personally don't think they will. Obviously, there's no trades in this mock, but I got them staying here. And either way, and taking Malik Neighbors. They're trying to get some more offensive help for Daniel Jones. Got to try to make that work with that new contract signed, just last year. Try to make this work in New York. In need of more offensive firepower, especially with Barkley gone. And, pairing Malik Neighbors with Darren Waller, I think, would be the start of something there. Will it work out for Daniel Jones? We don't know. But I think that's a good first step to at least try to get that to work going forward and, getting some building blocks for the future. At number 7, Tennessee Titans, I got going with Joe Alt. Tennessee getting some O-line help from Malik Willis. They do have some, pretty good young talent on the offensive line right now, especially forming a incredible young tackle duo with Peter Skoronski. At number 8, the Atlanta Falcons, going the defensive side of the ball. Quinyon Mitchell getting some help from the MAC and Toledo at cornerback, adding to that secondary with new quarterback Kirk Cousins on offense there. Look to shore up that defense there at 8. At number 9, Chicago Bears. And this is what I was teasing earlier. Rome Odunze, wide receiver out of Washington, one of the best receivers in College football the last couple of years, Bears giving Caleb every opportunity to succeed that they didn't give Justin Fields. He's an elite wide receiver. He'll join an elite wide receiver trio of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze, being that young guy, learning from some vets for the future. At number 10, the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, getting some offensive line help from Talisa Fuaga out of Oregon State, the offensive tackle, going to New York and the Jets to help out Aaron Rodgers. At number 11, the Vikings. This is also a team looking to possibly trade up for a quarterback. But I think either way, without this, they might trade up. But I could see them still just staying here and their guy still being there. I got them, unfortunately, going with that quarterback down the road, J.J. McCarthy, getting their next QB after Kirk moved on to Atlanta. I believe this will actually, I hate saying this, I believe it'll be a good fit with the Kevin O'Connell offense going forward. At number 12, Denver Broncos, Sean Payton. He's an out-of-the-box dude. He's a weird dude. And I got him going with an out-of-a-box pick here. Cooper DeJean, cornerback out of Iowa. They're adding some help in that cornerback room to help opposite of Patrick Surtain. Cooper DeJean is a versatile player, can return punts as well. And, this kind of seems like a Sean Payton pick, in my opinion. At number 13, the Las Vegas Raiders, also in need of quarterback help. With new full-time head coach, Antonio Pierce. Obviously was filling in last year, now he's the full-time coach. So first draft as the full-time head coach there with the Raiders. I got him going with Michael Penix, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football over the last handful of years. Me as a Michigan State fan saw him dot us up many a times, going back to his days at Indiana as well. You still have Devontae Adams on the roster. And then you have veteran Gardner Minshew as well, who can fill in until Penix is ready to get out there if you don't want to throw him to the Wolves week 1. At number 14, New Orleans Saints. I got going with Dallas Turner, the edge rusher from Alabama, helping out a Saints defensive line with an aging Cameron Jordan and newly acquired Chase Young, forming a dynamic young duo there as well for the future. At number 15, the Indianapolis Colts getting help on the defensive side of the ball from Terrion Arnold, cornerback from Alabama. So back-to-back band players taken here. Looking to add some talent to a young, inexperienced cornerback room there in Indianapolis currently. At number 16, Seattle Seahawks, going with Latu, edge rusher from UCLA. Looking to add some much-needed help to the Seahawk defensive line that's been trying to find its way the last handful of years. I think this will be a good addition for Brandon Jordan to work with as a pass rush specialist on that defensive line. At number 17, Jacksonville Jaguars, going with Jared Verse. Edge rusher from FSU, staying in the state, going to Jacksonville. You could see offensive line here to help out Trevor Lawrence, but I think to help build that defense, putting him opposite Eric Armstead, and then obviously putting him opposite Trayvon Walker, first overall pick from a couple years ago. With the Jaguars, I think, that would be a dynamic young edge rushing duo that can learn from Eric Armstead, is obviously been in the league a long time. At number 18, I got the Cincinnati Bengals going with Penn State tackle Olumide Fashanu. I know I butchered that name and I do apologize, but the Bengals have needed O-line help for years. They have improved some over time through free agency, but getting a young talent here makes sense and, could see interior defensive line as well. At number 19, Los Angeles Rams going with Troy Fautanu, tackle from Washington. Obviously Rob Havenstein is getting older, approaching a decade in the league. Joe Noteboom, you have in the mix as well. You have pick up Jonah Jackson on the interior this offseason at the guard spot, which I think was really big. Really shoring up with a stud offensive tackle for the future, that can learn for a year or two and with some vets and then hop into a starting spot, I think is a solid pickup here. At number 20, Pittsburgh Steelers. Could see them going a couple ways here, but I got them going with offensive tackle from Alabama, J.C. Latham, a position of need, and pairing with a second-year tackle in Broderick Jones, who will be a nice building block for the future at each of those tackle spots, with Russell Wilson this year, and ideally for Justin Fields going forward if everything works out for them. At number 21, the Miami Dolphins. Going with Amarius Mims, tackle from Georgia. Wouldn't be surprised to see this pick one pick earlier to pair with his fellow Georgia Bulldog, Broderick Jones, in Pittsburgh. But I like the pickup to help the offensive line for Miami with an older Terron Armstead on the roster still, and, young guys, Eichenberg on that line, grabbing another young stud to help build that offensive line for the future. Obviously you still have Tua still young in his career, and, some of the other skill guys as well. So you're, looking to just shore that up. At number 22, I got the Philadelphia Eagles going with cornerback Nate Wiggins from Clemson. You could also see them going with an offensive tackle here. I could also see them going with an edge rusher and Chop Robinson. At number 23, Minnesota Vikings going with Jerzon Newton, defensive interior lineman from Illinois, going to help Minnesota defensive line, which is really thin right now. At number 24, Dallas Cowboys. I got them staying in state and going with Texas wide receiver Adonai Mitchell, adding some help to a wide receiver core and, put him opposite CeeDee Lamb. You have some other, pretty decent pieces at wide receiver, but I think adding a young stud like Adonai Mitchell, who could come in and, maybe after a year or so, be legitimately that number 2 wide receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb. But I think even year 1, he'd get a lot of spin, as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 at worst on that roster. At number 25, the Green Bay Packers. I got them going with another Longhorn. Byron Murphy, the second, going to Green Bay to help that defensive line, looking to turn around that middle of the line specifically. At number 26, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going with Jackson Powers-Johnson, the center from Oregon. Coming into the Buccaneers with Ryan Jensen, going into year 11, and trying to bridge the gap to the future, getting your center of the future as well, the best center on the board in the draft at this point. At number 27, Arizona Cardinals on the clock again. I got them going with Kool-Aid McKinstry, going to add cornerback depth in Arizona to pair in that secondary with Budda Baker and Sean Murphy-Bunting, who is that cornerback. You can stick Kool-Aid McKinstry immediately opposite of Murphy-Bunting. And then, Budda Baker, you have at safety right there. And then I think that's a solid draft for the Arizona Cardinals, getting some help for Kyler Murray. And, they're hoping to turn that thing around there. At number 28, Buffalo Bills. Obviously, they moved on from Stephon Diggs, so the consensus is you're going with wide receiver here, and that's what I have. I have them going with LSU wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., adding some depth to that wide receiver room, and a guy that can probably step in year 1 and, immediately be in that top 3 group starting. At number 29, the Detroit Lions, obviously coming off their best season, probably in franchise history. I got them going with some defensive help, specifically defensive secondary help, which I think, across the board is, the position that they need the most help with. They do have a really good roster. They have a young roster as well. But I have them, unfortunately, for me, have to say this, going with someone in state, that school down the road, have them going with cornerback Mike Sanderstill, adding some much-needed depth to that cornerback room there in Detroit. At number 30, the Baltimore Ravens. I am going with Graham Barton, tackle from Duke, going to Baltimore to provide some more depth on that O-line and some young depth as well for Lamar Jackson. At number 31, San Francisco 49ers, runners-up this year, lost in the Super Bowl again to the Kansas City Chiefs. I got them adding some offensive line help at tackle in Oklahoma's Tyler Guyton. Trent Williams is 35, going into year 15, looking for more pieces at the hardest position to play in football, in my opinion, besides quarterback, at the tackle position, and looking to build that line for the future, learn from Trent Williams for a year or two, and, you can be starting. At number 32, Kansas City Chiefs. This pick, I can see going a couple different ways, but I think their position that they'd like to add a stud young guy. They have added some nice young pieces over the last couple years. During the regular season, they've done okay. In the playoffs, they made some okay, but I think in that pass catching room, they rely too heavily, which they should. He's the best tight end to ever play in Travis Kelce. But I think getting a stud wide receiver who can go get the ball is huge here. That's why I got them going with Keon Coleman. Kansas City gets a stud wide receiver from Florida State, originally Michigan State. Give them a big play athletic wide receiver target for Patrick Mahomes in the rooms that at times struggled last year. Rashee Rice made strides, but obviously some off-the-field stuff going on right now. And then, the addition of Marquise Brown. You're hoping Sky Moore takes a step in the right direction. But this adds to hopefully an improved room for Kansas City and takes some pressure off Travis Kelce at the tight end position as they look to begin their quest for a three-peat. But that'll do it. That was the draft. I'm sure I'll get all 32 of these picks correct. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I do have 3 more draft videos coming up. We have a couple of team previews. Just wanted to dive a little bit deeper into a couple of teams that I follow and, root for the most. So that'll be out soon. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. See you in the next one. Peace out.